Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, I will continue telling you about chapters 5 and 6 of the story The Ancient Tomb Village. Please listen along.
Hi, what's wrong? My mother's voice rang in my ears. I shuddered and slowly opened my eyes. Thank goodness, I could feel my body again. Daylight pierced my eyes with a blinding brightness. I'm tired. I raised my hand to my head. You might have a fever, my mother said as she touched my forehead. Why are you home at this time? I asked weakly. Your teacher called to say you didn't show up to class this morning. I was worried, so I rushed back to check on you. Nee is doing better too, she'll probably be discharged in a day or two. She told me to lie still and rest while she went off to cook porridge for me. You probably caught a chill yesterday, right? Take off your shirt and lie face down so I can give you a massage with a coin. As I struggled to take off my sweat-soaked shirt, my mother suddenly cried out, "What is this? Hi! Why are there scratch marks all over your body?" I looked down. My stomach was covered with long red welts, raised and inflamed like scratches made by fingernails. Alarmed, I rolled up the sleeves of my nightgown. My arms were also full of scratches. Did you let a dog or cat into the house last night? Or, did you scratch yourself? My mother asked. I recalled the events of the previous night and replied in a trembling voice, "It was them, Mom." Who? What are you talking about? Maybe your fever caused you to hallucinate. Poor girl, and on the exact night I wasn't home. Thank God nothing worse happened. No, I was still fine last night. I only got sick after I met them. Stop babbling. Lie still so I can finish massaging you. Then eat your porridge and take your medicine. The next day, I went to school feeling drained. The scratch marks had faded a little, but I remained quiet all day, not joking or chatting like usual. In the last period, Hugh suddenly handed me a stack of paper. Here. I copied the lessons you missed yesterday. I was surprised. I didn't expect this quiet guy to be so thoughtful. Thanks, I said. Hugh looked at me with his deep black eyes, half hidden under his messy bangs, then turned back to stare at the board. I felt a strong urge to share last night's story with him, but I remembered his vague and dismissive response when I hinted at it before. I didn't want him to think I was crazy. His eyes remained fixed on the board, but suddenly he said, "Take care of yourself. You have to stay alert. If anything happens, just use garlic. Or come find me." His words caught me off guard. I could only nod and say, "Thanks. I will." Always thanking people, he grumbled. In the days that followed, I slept in fear. I still felt sickly, like someone recovering from an illness. I wasn't sure where those scratch marks had come from. Remembering how Hugh had once handed me a garlic bulb for protection, I hurried to the market and bought a whole bag. Every night, I placed garlic by the door, stuffed some in my pajama pockets, and tucked a few under my pillow. Perhaps because of that, I didn't see them again. Sometimes my dad stayed home too, which made me feel safer. My mother was still at the hospital looking after my sister. By the weekend, she was discharged. I was a bit surprised when I saw her enter the house. She looked skinnier than before, but her energy seemed brighter. The doctor said she had been suffering from physical exhaustion. That night, the two of us slept together again. Having her beside me gave me some peace of mind, even though I knew she couldn't really help me. I clutched the garlic tightly in my hand and drifted off to sleep. In the middle of the night, a noise woke me up. Bang! Bang! The sound of the iron door downstairs echoed like someone pounding on it. I opened my eyes. The room was still pitch dark, but when I looked to my side, Nee was gone. I panicked and jumped up to turn on the light. That's when I heard her voice calling, "Sis, hi." I rushed to the top of the stairs, fumbling for the light switch with shaking hands. "Sister, hi. Open the door for your friend," she giggled. Her laugh echoed through the darkness. Her words sent a chill through my spine. Finally, I managed to turn on the staircase light. I saw her figure. She was standing completely still in front of the door. I called softly, "Nee, what are you doing down there? Come up here." She didn't respond. Her back was facing me, unmoving. I had no choice but to go down and bring her back up. It was drafty down there. She'd catch another cold and Mom would scold me to death. I stepped barefoot onto the cold, damp floor. As I approached her, I called, "Nee," but she didn't react. I tapped her shoulder and turned her around. Her eyes were tightly shut. Her mouth was open in a wide, eerie grin. The sight was too horrifying to imagine. I shook her a couple of times, and suddenly she collapsed against me, limp. Terrified, I screamed, "Mom! Dad! Something's wrong with Nee." Lights flicked on and the sound of my parents' frantic footsteps echoed down the stairs. My mom rushed to her. Suddenly, Nee opened her eyes. "What's wrong?" my mom asked. "Why am I down here?" Nee said. Her question made everyone turn to stare at me. "You came down on your own," I said. Turns out she had just been sleepwalking. "Sleepwalking," Dad said. "All right, You two go back upstairs and sleep. You scared the hell out of us. That night, I had to sleep on the outside edge of the bed, just in case she wandered off again. She had never sleepwalked before in her life, so this was baffling. In the following nights, Mom made her sleep in their bed. I went back to sleeping alone. Then one night, a breeze brushed against my face, making me uncomfortable. I opened my eyes. I gasped. Nee was standing silently next to my bed, her head bent low over my face. I shut. The breeze I felt was her breath. I was about to reach out and wake her when she suddenly lifted her face, looked straight at me, and giggled. "Did you forget? Belle, did you forget? Did you forget?" Her voice rang out in a shrill, haunting melody, repeating over and over. I was so terrified I scrambled for the light switch and turned it on. Her voice stopped. Only then did I dare approach her and shake her awake. The nightmares were truly beginning in this new house. Hearing the commotion, my parents came and took her back to their room. A while later, I heard my parents talking faintly in the hallway. I pressed my ear to the door. "Don't you think it's strange? Why is she acting like this all of a sudden? Maybe she's just still sick." My mom snapped. "It's not an illness. I told you, we should just sell this house." Dad replied, "Do you really think we can sell it in the middle of nowhere? Even if we could, it wouldn't fetch a good price. We have nowhere else to go." "I'm scared. Don't you remember why we left this place in the first place? Aren't you afraid of the curse? There's no such thing as a curse. What if she doesn't make it? Don't you see the village is starting to crack? You saw it too, didn't you? Mr. Lang already sealed it. You met him that day, remember? I don't care. Tomorrow, get a priest to bless the first floor again. The other day, I was covered in scratch marks. Don't tell me they came up here. I'm so scared. We have to find a way to leave this place as soon as possible." My mother's voice trembled. Then came my father's long sigh. "It's all my fault. I'm useless." Their cryptic conversation only made things more confusing. What were they talking about? From what I gathered, one thing was clear. My parents used to live in this village and had to leave. I became deeply curious about what had happened in this strange village so many years ago. The next afternoon, when I came home from school, I found my parents and little Nee were already there. Inside the house was a shaman, an old man my parents had invited to light long lanterns for our family. After greeting him, I immediately asked, "So you're not going to work today?" My mother replied, "We all asked to leave early today, even for Nee. We invited the shaman over to pray for peace. Just have some lunch and rest. This is our concern. You don't need to think about it too much." Hearing this, I went upstairs. Downstairs, everyone remained standing together on the bare first floor. The ground was still warped and curling up, making walking very uncomfortable. Just cleaning the floor was a real struggle. Countless tiles had cracked and were scattered all over the first floor. I now partially understood why my parents didn't keep any furniture downstairs. Perhaps it was because the floor was too cold and cracked, and since my father couldn't afford repairs, they chose to leave it unused. Lately, I felt like the road home was getting ever steeper. I climbed the stairs exhausted and breathless. While I was in my room, I heard a sharp tinkling bell sound coming from downstairs. I quickly peeked out. Below, the shaman was hopping around, circling Nee, who was kneeling on the floor. Then he pulled out a thick incense stick, much thicker than regular joss sticks, lit it, and began waving it. The scent of herbal incense filled the entire room. He waved it through the air as if chasing away mosquitoes. The whole downstairs room was filled with smoke, as though it were burning. Afterwards, he took out a vial of holy water and began sprinkling from inside to outside with a willow branch, likely to cleanse the house of negative energy. He then retrieved 4 talismans from his bag, inscribed them with dog's blood, and placed them carefully. The largest red talisman on the front door, others along the walls and beneath the first stair leading to the second floor. There you go, done. That creates a barrier, none can enter or leave. But remember, talismans only last for a time and must be recharged. My power is only enough to hold it for now. Best is for the village chief to resolve this soon, or report to local authorities. My parents simply nodded. I overheard them mention me and my sister, talking about the events of the previous nights. "She keeps sleepwalking. None of us, Mom or Dad, can sleep properly because we have to take turns watching her. It's affecting both school and work. Please see what you can do to reduce it." My mother's voice was urgent. Sleepwalking doesn't happen spontaneously. Someone leads her, guiding unconsciously. It's easy to control. We can only limit it. Hang a wind chime at the bedroom door. When she walks past, it will ring, alerting you that she's sleepwalking. Don't tie her up or watch her awake. It's uncomfortable. The chime helps call her spirit back. Once she hears it, she'll wake up naturally. Then you don't have to worry. My parents nodded gratefully. The shaman went upstairs with them to our room. He secured a small wind chime, hanging it from the lower frame of the door. If someone brushed its cord, it would ring sharply. Then he returned downstairs to check our long lanterns, removed a nearly faded talisman and replaced it with a new one. When he finished, he bid everyone goodbye and left before dark. Before leaving, he also gave my parents 2 jade Buddha bracelets, instructing that I and Nee wear them for protection. My parents had us wear them immediately. The following days were indeed a bit calmer, as life resumed its normal rhythm. My sister was also more at ease after the ritual, and wearing the jade bracelet, it seemed even more effective than my garlic. I had been living here for over a month without making friends, largely because the village was too quiet. Everyone stayed home and none lingered outside. Sometimes, walking home from school, I passed houses with open doors and noticed something strange. Almost none kept any belongings on the first floor, at most a few motorbikes. The houses looked like concrete stilt houses. Perhaps it was local custom, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. The few houses built with reddish bricks looked unusual. I had never seen such before. Then, one night, after a stretch of peaceful nights with no sleepwalking, I was suddenly jolted awake. Ding kong, ding kong. The chime rang continuously in my ears. I stared in shock as I opened my eyes. Perhaps my sister wandered again? Lately there had been many mosquitoes, so I set up a net before sleeping. How could she get out? I looked beside me. She was still there, sleeping softly, yet the chime kept tinkling non-stop. I glanced toward the door. No one was there, yet the chime rang ding-kang as if swayed. Maybe it was the wind? But the house was airtight. The chime never rang without being touched. My body trembled with fear. I felt like someone was pacing across the threshold, or maybe many people were entering my room. I reached out, shaking my sister awake. She murmured groggily, Nee, wake up, hurry. She opened her eyes and asked, What's wrong? Hi, don't you hear it? Ding, kung. The chime rang twice more, then fell silent. A bell? Probably just wind, she said. Let me sleep. She lay back down, then the curtain beside her sagged. It sagged in the perfect shape of a person. More precisely, a little girl. We both screamed. Our parents dashed in. The curtain whipped upward as if by wind. The shape vanished. What was that? My father asked. With all of you asleep late at night, can't we get some rest? My mother snapped. Mom, there's a ghost, I stammered. Nee burst into tears. It's true, Mom. It was the first time I'd seen her cry. What's wrong? Calm down, our mother soothed. Then we recounted what we had witnessed. My parents exchanged weary, fatigued looks. It's nothing, just a nightmare, children, Mom reassured. What kind of nightmare? We both saw it. I replied. You're just teasing your sister, she snapped. I'm not. I shouted. Enough. Quiet now. Everyone sleep in our room from now on, my father said firmly. Nee and I trudged, carrying pillows and blankets, into my parents' room. My father brought in another mattress. He placed it beside their bed. From then on, we slept there. The next morning, sensing the somber atmosphere, my father said, All right, this Sunday, I'll take everyone to Hanoi for a bit, then we'll come back. Nee and I cheered. Finally, we could escape this strange village. At least for a little while. Sunday morning, I eagerly packed food into my small backpack when suddenly the village's stillness was shattered by a long scream from a nearby alley. What's that? My father asked, peering from the balcony. Open doors of surrounding houses revealed neighbors, young and old, sticking their heads out to listen. The woman's scream persisted. From the far alley, a woman over 40 came running out, shrieking. A middle-aged man chased after her, grasping her tightly to calm her. A village dog ran out, carrying a long object in its mouth as it dashed along the village road. The crowd gathered around the woman. Our family went out to see. The crowd murmured, Calm down. Miss Tam, what happened? Someone asked. Everything is gone, everything, the woman wailed. I can't take it anymore. Let me leave, she cried. Her husband held her tightly, trying to soothe her. Please, it's horrible, oh God, it's all revealed, let me go. She sobbed, her hair disheveled. Call the village chief, someone instructed, and 2 young men ran off. Our trip was delayed. My parents seemed determined to see what was happening and to handle it. They didn't let me or Nee get too close to Miss Tam's house. Their expressions were solemn. After some time, the village chief arrived, followed by several fit men carrying green tarps. He pushed past the crowd and entered Miss Tam's house. About an hour later, they emerged carrying the tarps, as if wrapping something. My parents shook their heads and signaled us to get ready to leave. We walked past the crowd still gathered at Miss Tam's house, where she had been taken to a neighbor's to rest and calm down. The dog followed us. I moved to shoo it, but then noticed what it held in its mouth. It was a long bone. It looked like a human bone.
Chapter 6 ends here. If you enjoy this video, please remember to like and subscribe to support me, and stay tuned for my upcoming videos.